Hello my dearest friends, welcome to a brand new vlog. I haven't done one of those in a very long time. I'm not also the best at it, so I don't do very many on my channel because I typically think when I'm doing things that I would like to vlog, oh, I'm gonna start filming right now to show you some b-roll and to show some things that I'm doing in my day. But then for certain exciting things, I just forget to film them, and I've lost a lot of opportunity to include a lot of the fun stuff that I do for my vlog. So I'm like, yeah, I missed it, so I'm just not gonna do it. So I'm kind of always at war with myself on when and how to organize myself to actually post a vlog. But this week I thought, I'm gonna film something and I'm gonna see how it turns out, and I hope that I have enough footage to just include all of the interesting things that have happened this week. My son is coughing, he has a cold, so apologies if you hear him. What has been happening this week? There's been a lot going on. I had a lot of work, and I had this plan to go to the mall to buy some gifts for my goddaughter because she has a birthday next week. So I went into this bookshop. I'm gonna show you some of the Bulgarian releases that have come out lately, because Bulgarian publishing houses have really gotten into the hype of doing the sprayed edges for very popular books, and there were some gorgeous ones. And I'm really sorry on the one hand that I don't really read in Bulgarian, because I would love to have some of these copies in my library, but I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna read these, so I just don't need them. But there were some beautiful copies on there. I'm going to post some b-roll in a moment so you can see them. And while I was at the mall, I started a new book that I'm going to talk about in just a couple of moments. But first, I wanted to mention something. I just finished the day before Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and I have to say that I was really pleasantly surprised because I actually didn't enjoy Bride. Bride is one of the few books by Ali Hazelwood that I didn't really enjoy, so I was very hesitant about picking up Mate, which is the follow-up to Bride. And I decided to pick it up because it is kind of very fitting time of year to read it right now. It has werewolves. It kind of is very autumnal to me for some reason because it's paranormal. So I decided to pick it up, and I was very pleasantly surprised. It's like a 4 to 4.5 star read for me. I really enjoyed the banter between the characters. I enjoyed the setting of the book. I enjoyed the fact that he's a rejected were, and he doesn't really hide his attraction towards the heroine, but at the same time doesn't really hide the fact that he's okay with being rejected by her, because secretly he actually feels so much for her that he's like, I'm gonna take you however I can get you. And there was just such typical Ali Hazelwood pining and longing between the two characters that it just worked for me. I really highly enjoyed that one. So it was a favorite read of mine that I've just finished. And because I'm in a very autumnal mood, I decided to look up another audiobook that has those autumn vibes. When I saw the cover for this book, I really wanted to pick it up. It's called Poisoned Ivy, and I think the author is a BIPOC author, so I was like, all the better. And the cover is this illustrated cover that is just simply gorgeous. It has those autumn colors, and it's a college romance, and I was like, okay, this sounds good. So the story revolves around our heroine, who is of Indian descent. I think her parents are immigrants from India over to the States, and they are very demanding parents. They are paying for her college, so they have very high expectations off of her, and she feels very stifled. So she kind of wants to break away from the expectations of her parents. She wants to do something for herself to earn money so that she can be independent from them. She decides to get into this writing competition that will have this prize money that will allow her this independence. But to do so, she needs some kind of a topic. And she decides to write about this secret society at her college, and she does so with the help of our hero Conrad. Her name is Melina, by the way, and his name is Conrad. he is from this very prominent family and he can get her access to a lot of these places where the secret society meets and everything. So there's a bit of investigative journalism involved in the book. There's a bit of mystery, like there's something fishy going on that they're trying to look into. There's forced proximity because they work together, and there is this cultural difference that I think is handled in a very kind of a very well thought out of way, though I do have to say that as far along as I'm getting, I think I'm about 50% into the audiobook right now. The hero seems to be written for the heroine. Sometimes that gets on my nerves because it feels like the hero doesn't have a personality of his own. But for this book, I think we're getting to the point where we're getting to know the hero as well with his backstory, because he has a family that also has certain expectations for him, but for different reasons. So he's been more so neglected by his family, but at the same time, they have these expectations from him because he has this family name. And I don't know, I'm really getting into it. Like the first 30%, I was very on the fence about whether I'm liking it or not. So yeah, I'm getting into this audiobook and I am liking it so far. And what I'm doing right now, while I'm sitting in my kitchen talking to you, I'm gonna show you. I have this recipe that I got at some point. It's a Nutella recipe. And these are ginger cookies that I typically make around Christmas. But my son, he found these cookie cutter things that I had bought that I'd forgotten about, to be quite honest. And he's a very big Mario fan. So I got these Mario, let me see which one. Got like Toad here, and he was like, oh, we need to make cookies, so we're making cookies. I'm making dough in a moment on the basis of this recipe. I have my scale, my products, and I'm going to make the dough, and then later on I'm going to show you the finished product once we make the cookies. And what else will you see in this vlog? I think I'm gonna show you, because yesterday I actually celebrated my birthday with my girlfriends. They made some clips of me dancing, so I might show you those. I also this morning went to a brunch with my colleagues, so I'm gonna show you what kind of wonderful food we ate. So I'm going to start on some B-roll so you can see what I've been doing in the past couple of days. And I'll be back with you once we have some cookies out of the oven so I can show them to you. I hope they turn out great. And then at some point I'm also going to update you with how the book is going. I don't know what I'm going to be picking up next, to be quite honest with you. I do have a list of books that I want to finish this fall. I've also posted it on my Instagram, and I do have a couple of the audiobooks for these, but I'm just going to take a look at the list and see what strikes my fancy at the moment, because like I mentioned, I'm about 50% in, so I do suspect that I may finish it tonight, this book. And if I don't, then I'm gonna finish it tomorrow, and then I'm gonna start on the next one. So let's wait out and see. I'll see you in a bit. All right, dear friends, so this is how the cookies turned out. I think they're so cute and my son loves them as well. And I just am waiting for a couple of moments for them to cool down, and then we're going to taste them as well. I'm sure they've turned out fine because we make these cookies for Christmas every year, so I think they'll be good. But just look at how cute they are. All right, my dearest friends, so I finished this morning Poisoned Ivy and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really, really quite surprised, to be quite honest, because when I started this book until the 30% mark, I was really not feeling it. I was thinking of DNFing it, but I'm really, really glad that I stuck through with it, because after the 50% mark, I was really, really invested in both the heroine story as well as the hero story, and then also their romance together, which is really good. The heroine, Melina, she is really struggling with her relationship with her parents, because her parents are immigrants. They're from India. They've immigrated over to the States, and like very many immigrants, they have really done their best and they've struggled a lot to financially and also in any kind of way support their daughters and to get them the best possible education, get them the best possible future. And because of that, they have certain kinds of expectations from both of their daughters. And Melina's sister is the perfect kind of daughter in their view, because she has ticked all of the boxes, while Melina is not doing that, and they're frustrated with her and they have this friction because of that. And I can relate to that really, really well, because I've seen it happen over and over with parents wanting the best for their child but really not communicating very well with their child what that's supposed to be. So they have certain assumptions or certain expectations from their child, but the child is really heading towards a different thing, and it's scary for the parents, but it's also scary for the child to not get their support. So that part of the story really, really resonated with me. I really, really enjoyed it. And then also the hero's backstory with his parents. So they have expectations from him because he has this family name that he carries, that they have kind of expectations from him to uphold the family name standard, while he kind of wants to also go his own way and he wants their support, but he doesn't get it. So that part of the story I also kind of really enjoyed. And then there's this investigative part of the story where they're writing this article, going on these reconnaissance kind of dates, if you will, and how they're bickering together and they're getting close to one another is something that I really started to enjoy after the 50% mark. And then also the discussion within the book of the heroine's sexuality really, really resonated with me as well. So there's a lot of things that after the 50% mark started to hit the right boxes for me. I'm really, really happy that I stuck with this book because I eventually really, really enjoyed it. So I gave this one 4 stars. It's a really solid, enjoyable 4-star read for me. And it's just gotten me more in the mood to read autumnal kind of fall vibes books. So I picked up a short audio book. I'm about 10% into this one. It's called The Good Girls on Maple Lane, Maple Street, something like that. I'm going to put up the cover so you can see it. And this one, like, I'm 10% in, so I don't know a lot yet, but it's like giving the vibes of the heroine describing everyone that lives in her apartment building and her being kind of this observer. She has like an opinion about everyone that she lives with in this building, but she's not really friends with any of them. So I'm really curious to see where the story is going to go with each of them, because she's describing 2 guys, like one who lives just next door to her and one who lives, I think, above her. So it's interesting to see who is going to be the love interest. And then also you do sense she's kind of lonely, I think, which is why she's also so observant. So I'm really wanting to see where the story is going to go. And yeah, this is all I have for this book because I'm not very far in. I'm going to update you once I have more on this one. This is going to be a day for me of doing a lot of chores at home. So I'm just going to pop my audiobook in and listen. And once I finish the book, I'm going to give you an update. And
And yeah, that is about it for this one. Hope to see you soon. Good morning, dear friends. I have started my morning already this morning. I brought my son to school. I went to the grocery shop to get some fresh bread, and I made myself some coffee, and I'm going to start on my day. I need to do some things before I get to work. I need to put a load of laundry on, I need to vacuum, I need to do a lot of things before I start my work day. But I just wanted to do a quick update. I don't know if it's gonna be quick because I forgot that I'm doing this vlog, to be quite honest with you. I've been so over the place since my son started school. I'm just focusing on having everything ready for him and doing stuff that are necessary for his day, and I'm just kind of neglecting whatever I need to be doing as well. But I just wanted to let you know what I've been reading. This was supposed to be like a fall reads kind of vlog, but yeah, I actually did read some fall reads. I finished the book that I started to talk about in this vlog, which is The Good Girls on Maple Street, I think it was called. And I really enjoyed that one. It's a really kind of quick, cozy kind of a read where we're seeing more of a relationship between our heroine and her dog, which I really, really love actually, because whenever we have pets in a story, I do want to see what they bring to the story. I don't want them to be used as some kind of a plot device. In this one, we really see how the heroine really wants to desperately save her shelter dog. So she adopted a dog from a shelter who it's this Labrador, who has been through a very difficult life. They've always kept her chained outside. She didn't walk very much at all, so she's overweight. And our heroine wants to get the dog into shape so that she feels better, can walk on her own, and feels healthy. And the romance is between herself and her neighbor, because her neighbor steps up to help her to get a dog from the shelter because the dog cannot walk on its own. And he also helps the heroine out with her social media presence, because she wants to create this page where she documents the journey of the getting fit and healthy kind of journey for her dog. And her videos very quickly go viral because everyone wants to know what is going to happen with the dog, and I like that plot line within the story. And the two characters who fall in love, they're just so wholesome and cute together. And we also kind of see a found family aspect within the whole apartment building situation, because at the start of the book, the heroine is like, I don't know everyone or anyone actually in this building, but she is noticing everyone. She's very observant. She notices her next door neighbor, who is this he's kind of into robotics and he always cycles, and she has this couple who is always making out in the elevator. She has this other neighbor who has a dog as well, and it's just a very cute, cozy fall read, if you ask me. I really enjoyed this one. And then I decided to pick up another fall read, and I fell for this book solely because of the cover, to be very honest, because I really, really like the fall vibes, fall colors of this one. It's called This Time Will Be Different, I think. And who was the author? Was it Joss Richards or something like that? I'm not sure. I'm gonna put up the cover so you can see it. And I actually managed to finish this one as well. In the meantime, I was supposed to update you when I started this book, but I've been all over the place. And yeah, this book, when I saw the cover, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. I hope this is gonna be good. And then I saw on Goodreads, it doesn't have a lot of ratings, but it had like a 4.19 or something like that as a rating. I was like, this sounds promising, so I definitely want to give it a try. Let me just take a sip. So that book had certain things that were done so well in the book, but the heroine was insufferable. I really, really struggled with this book because there were certain things that really worked for me and certain things that just drove me up the wall. We've got a heroine who, she is an actress. She originally is from Toronto and she moved to New York to try her luck with Broadway. And she did have a successful kind of run with a couple of off-Broadway shows and I think one Broadway show. And we get chapters of past and present, where in the past we're figuring out that while she was a struggling actress in New York, she was looking for a place to live, and she found a place that is just simply amazing. It's one of those brownstone, wonderful New York kind of places. And the rent is a bit higher than her budget, so she needs to find someone who will be her roommate so they can share the rent and have this wonderful place together. And she meets this guy when she's working at this bookshop, and she mentions the apartment to him, but she mentions it kind of offhand, not like offering him to be her roommate or something, but she's like, yeah, I've been looking for a place and there's this gorgeous place there and there, but I'm not sure whether I can get it, and da da da. And then the next day she figures out that he actually went to talk to the owner to be renting the apartment for himself. So they have this kind of a bickering or kind of like a discussion on what are you doing here, you know, but then they decide that they're going to be roommates. So in the past chapters we figure out that they become roommates and they very quickly become friends as well. And with the title, This Time Will Be Different, I was like, so did they become a couple and something went wrong and they broke up and then she moved away? Because in the present chapter, she's in LA and she's working on a TV show. And I'm like, is this like a second chance story? Or is this like the right person at the wrong time kind of situation? For when it comes to the past situation, I was kind of very curious to find out. So that part of the story really kept me intrigued. In the present chapters, she's in LA, but she gets an opportunity to get back to New York because of an inheritance situation. She gets called about this specific brownstone that something has happened to the owner, and she's being called for the will reading. And this is where she sees this guy again. His name is Adam, and they have this tense kind of a relationship when they meet up again with the reading of the will. And it turns out that the original owner, he didn't have any children, so he decided to leave the apartment to them. And this is where the present story goes, where she needs to decide whether she's going to sell together with Adam, whether they're going to sublet it. And they decide that, well, there is a month to do the transfer of ownership. They're going to live in New York together again. And she's going to try out to get back into Broadway while he's a chef. He's a restaurant owner. He said that he would very much like to stay there for the month that they have because it's like closer to his restaurant. So he has his own reasons to stay at this place. So they become roommates again. And like the setting of the book, the New York kind of feeling vibes, fall vibes of everything was just gorgeously done. I really, really loved that part of the book. But the heroine was just so freaking insufferable. She is questioning everything and she doesn't communicate properly. She makes so many assumptions and she just doesn't, she's not a clear communicator. And miscommunication in certain situations I can understand, but she's like creating a problem after a problem for herself because she just does not know how to read situations, how to ask questions, how to get into certain conversations with Adam. Well, he's completely smitten with her. He wants so desperately to make it work with her, and he is taking everything at her pace, and he's so understanding, and it's like he's like the dream man and she's like the completely clueless, out of her depth kind of a heroine, and that just is so frustrating to me. I get it when we're again like 2021 that we don't know what we want in life, but this heroine in the present chapters is like 32, 3, 4-year-old, and I'm like, at this point, specifically because in the past things have gone wrong, you should make more of an effort to be better, do better, try better, you know. And it just was so frustrating to me. And yeah, like I mentioned, there were certain parts of the story that really, really worked for me and certain parts that were really frustrating to me. So I was really like kind of hesitant on what to rate this book. So yeah, I'm thinking of giving this book 3 stars. It could have been 5, honestly. It could have been like a true 5-star read. But yeah, maybe 3 is a harsh rating. I don't know. It's like 3.5 stars. Let me put it like that. But I would definitely recommend it for the fall vibes. And if you are actually a fan of the miscommunication trope, because some people really are, and I'm just not one of these people, then maybe you might enjoy this one. And what else do I want to share with you? I wanted to share with you a friend of mine, dear friend of mine. She gave me a gift. She just gave me these amazing fresh herbs for tea. They're this mountain Rodopski aromat. There's like Mursavski chai is like a very specific kind of tea that I think is grown here in Bulgaria in the mountains. There is oregano, there is mint, there is pine things, I don't know, like from pine leaves. There is leaves from raspberry and also shipka. What is shipka in English? I don't know, but this is a very specific kind of a thing that grows on trees as well. So it's wonderful that she gave this to me because I love drinking tea. I'm a tea fanatic, so I love that she gifted us this. This is a homemade raspberry syrup. Here, her mom made this, and I love raspberries, so I'm very grateful for this gift. And then this is like homemade raspberry jam, and I love raspberry jam. It's my favorite. She also made homemade cookies. These little buddies here. I'm definitely going to try them out with my son. He loves these kinds of cookies. I think they're ginger scented. I'm not sure. I'm going to try them out. She's been a wonderful friend to me for the past couple of months since my son started school. Actually, our children started school together, and that's how we met. And she's a Libra like me, so we really hit it off, and we drink coffee every morning when we bring the kids to school, and it's been wonderful to meet a new friend. It's so difficult to meet new friends when you're past 35, honestly, because you get into the thick of things, you know, you kind of have your routine set up and you have already your friend group, and it's just not easy to make new friends, honestly. So it's been very refreshing to me to discover this new friendship and just have someone to talk to on a daily basis about all kinds of things, honestly. So she's become a dear friend of mine, and I'm very grateful for her. And what else can I tell you? I actually am not going to talk about any other books in this vlog because I am in the mood for other kinds of books. So I'm not going to read full books in the next week or so because I have other books lined up. Currently, I'm in the middle of The Night Prince. This is the second book within this romantasy series that focuses on some wolf shifters and things, and I didn't enjoy book 1 as much as I'm enjoying book 2, to be quite honest, but I'm not going to go into too much details. You will hear my thoughts in my monthly wrap-up. And what else can I tell you? I'm going to be doing a video soon of 10 before the end. You know, this trend of which 10 books do I want to finish before the end of the year. I need to film it, and I'm going to bring it out sometime this week, I think. And that is going to be it for what I'm doing this week. Next week, I'm actually traveling. I'm going to visit my parents, and I may or may not vlog it because I'm not the best at travel vlogging. Let's wait out and see whether I'm gonna manage that. And yeah, I think this is going to be it for this vlog. Let's wait out and see what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I'm curious to see whether I'm going to get back into those fall reads or whether I'm going to jump into the Christmas romances already, because I'm very much in the mood for those. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care, and bye-bye.